anybody who's looking for fun is going to be attracted to that. When I talk about the Passion Party's Guide to Great Sex and the Passion Party's Charitable Foundation, I mentioned that the book comes with their startup kit. And it's a great training manual for those who are unfamiliar with all this toy stuff like I was when I get started. And I do. I say something like, yeah, I knew nothing about Passion Parties. I'd never seen a toy, and I get this big kit, and my husband's like, what's in that box? And I'm like, it's my Passion Party stuff. He's like, do you even know what Passion Parties is? And then people laugh. They think that's funny. Well, for people who are like, well, I don't even know anything about this, neither did I. And here I am, successful at this business. I also mentioned, my husband was like, what? What are you doing? Because a lot of people are thinking, what would my partner think? Well, my husband's like, what are you doing? You've never even done this. So he wasn't 100% like, yeah, this will be awesome. But it was fine, and it worked out. The other thing I say when I show the Passion Party's Guide to Great Sex is I let people know that it comes in your training material, even though it's in our catalog, because if you know nothing about this business, if you know nothing about enhancing relationships, if you read this book from cover to cover, you will know how to answer any question anyone has for you in the ordering room. And that's something that people are concerned about. People are thinking, I would know how to answer the questions people ask me in the ordering room. Well, I have a solution for you. You read this book, you know what to say. So I just handled their objection of, but I don't know anything. That's okay, you don't need to know anything. We do all your training for you. When I show my big toy, like it's usually the Ultimate Indulgence, or right now it's the OMG, the Cosmo Bunny, my high-end, the ooh and ah toy, and everyone's like, whoa, I always laugh and say something like, oh my gosh, I love my job. Because I'm holding this thing that's going around, pumping up and down, and the crowd's going wild. Or I'll say like, how fun is my job? Or isn't my job awesome? Because the majority of people want to like their job. And most people don't. Most people who have a job do not like their job. So I just handled that objection of, oh, well, I don't know because I have my job. You know what? This is fun. This is way more fun than your job. You can keep your job and do this just for fun. Like I said, like the librarian. After the presentation, I hand out a You Can Have It All brochure to everybody. And if you don't have You Can Have It All brochures, I would highly recommend getting them. When I hand out the catalog, and then I explain each catalog, like there's our mild catalog, there's our wild, there's a You Can Have It All brochure, and I say, because I don't say, if you're interested in the business, I say, if any of you guys were sitting there thinking during the presentation that maybe your friend Jenny or your niece Susan would be good at what I do, or they might need a couple $100 extra to help ends meet, or they might have little kids at home and might want to get out of the house once or twice a month, take this brochure to them. And I'll ask you in the ordering room if you know anyone who's interested. And then while I'm explaining the catalogs and handing them out, I also reiterate if we do have any sign-up specials. Because a lot of times we do. At times I've carried an extra kit and I've said, the first person to sign up tonight can take your kit home today. And you can even offer special. You won't have to pay shipping on it. That costs you, for the small kit, it would cost you $25. It's up to you if you want to do something like that. Then in the ordering room, I ask each person as I'm adding up their order, do you know anyone who may be interested in this business? And again, that's a safe way of saying, because some people are a little timid about saying, hey, do you want to do this business? Are you interested in this business? Because if you say, do you know anyone who's interested, they might say, yeah, I might be interested. But for a lot of people, that's a safer way of saying it. If people are interested at all, I ask them the following 2 questions. What's the number one reason that you want to do passion parties? Whatever they tell me, I say something to support what they just said. So whether it's something personal, like if they're like, because I want to quit my job, I can say, you know what, that's exactly why I joined. And after 1.5 years, I was able to quit my job. If somebody says, I have 4 kids at home and I just want to get out of the house. I don't have 4 kids at home, but there's girls on my team who have. I used to have this girl, Vanessa, on my team. That was the only reason she did it. She did 1 party a month with her friends to go out and party. Because her husband would let her stay out all night because she was working. So So I would say, you know what? I had a girl on my team, Vanessa, who did it for the exact same reason, and I would tell them that story. So you just want to reiterate somebody what their story is. That's why it's great to ask other people, what's your story? Why'd you sign up? And then the second thing I ask them is, what's keeping you from signing up right now? Whatever their objection is, I'll throw something out to help them overcome that. So, and it doesn't have to be a big, well, tell me what, let's figure it out right now. But just maybe throw something out there, like if they're, say, well, I don't have the money right now. Well, think about if there's anyone that you could borrow it from, because when I started, I borrowed the money from my father. So I'll give them a story, how it worked out positively for me. So that's 15. There's 15 right there. There's 15 ways to sprinkle seeds about the opportunity all throughout the presentation. And this takes no more time than what you would normally be doing. The one note I do want to mention, throughout the entire party from start to finish, I look for signs that people want to do the business. So if somebody's asking me a lot of questions about the business, I keep my eye on them. That's who they're interested in. If they're asking me questions about the business, they're interested in the business. For the people who are helping me carry my stuff, for the people who are out there giving everyone else advice. Oh my gosh, you should try this. For the repeat customers, for the repeat hostesses. I have a lot of people on my team. They're on my team because they came to 5 parties, and finally after the 5th party and they're telling everyone else what to get, I'm like, why aren't you doing this? And they're like, oh, I didn't think about it. Or that person who is very outgoing or very saying all the words, penis, vagina, clitoris, and you're like, you totally need to do this because most people have a hard time saying those words. And sometimes I tell people, the really outgoing people, or the people are like, oh, I could totally do this. I'd be like, if you can do this, then you owe it to the world to be a consultant, because not everybody can. So we're really special. If people are asking you questions about your business, they really want to know the answer for themselves. So if somebody says, what does your husband think of this? I get that question a lot. Then I say, what would your husband think if you did this? Oh, I don't know. But it gets you guys talking back and forth. They don't really care what your husband thinks. They want to know if that has to do with what their husband would think. So ask them back, people ask all the time, do you really make money doing this? So people are like, how much money do you make? And I'm like, well, how much money would you want to make? Because I love it when people are like, oh, I would love to make $200 a month. I'm like, yes. I had these girls that just signed up a couple months ago as a couple, and they did their first party and they made $40. That's $20 each. Maybe 40, I think it's 46. $23 each, and they're like, oh my gosh, that was so easy. We each made $23. I was like, these girls are going to be so excited when they start making $200 and $400 a party. I love it. I love the people that are so excited about the small money, because when the big money comes, it's going to blow them away. So do you guys have any questions? Because if you guys have questions, then other people that are watching these might have questions as well. Did that make sense?
Yes, totally makes sense.
Is anybody going to do this at their next party?
I'm trying to do it.
I have my script with me all the time.
Awesome. So does it feel good?
Absolutely.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you.
Woohoo!
Yay.